Hello, and today we'll be painting a sloth. And this sloth is going to be super cute. He is going to be hugging onto a tree, as sloths do sometimes. So let's see. We maybe want to start with probably the trunk. Actually, let me say a few things before we start, since I don't see anybody here yet. So maybe I'll just talk about what I'm doing, and maybe like why I'm doing it and all that. So this is my third. My name is Jessica, and this is my third kind of like a live stream painting class thing. I'm just doing this to basically entertain anybody who wants to learn how to paint while they're sitting in quarantine from this virus thing. So that was basically my main motivation in the first place, just to basically provide some free entertainment, because I know that's one of the things I like in life is free entertainment. Can't really beat it. So, oh hey Tina. Okay, cool. So I suppose maybe we can just jump right on in, shall we? So as you can see, I've marked off my space, and this time I'm going to do some sort of more landscape or horizontal layout, rather than before we were doing kind of the opposite, more of a vertical layout. So if you want to turn your canvases kind of more towards this type of layout, this landscape type of layout, it doesn't need to be too dramatic of landscape, just kind of, if you were to turn to 8.5 by 11, just a regular piece of paper that way, that's fine too. So let's start with mapping out our tree area. So let's put a mark up here next to the corner, maybe a couple inches away down there. And we'll do something similar on this end right here. So this is just going to be the beginning and the end, and the beginning and the end of your tree that he's going to be holding on to. So just connect those lines, la la la. There, super easy. That's just step one. So Sloth is actually, as I was practicing doing this for today, it was not as easy as I thought it would be. The face is going to be a fun little challenge for anybody who's interested in doing that with me. So bear with me. The sloth has like a super unique face, because it kind of almost looks like it's smiling and frowning at the same time. So it's going to be fun here. So speaking of the sloth head, we'll want to put that somewhere in this neighborhood right here. We'll overlap part of the tree so that there's a little depth, but we'll make it, just kind of a tilted oval shape. All right. And then we'll want to make one of his arms kind of wrapping around. So we'll make this shape right here. Like that. All right. So now we're gonna just go ahead and make his booty. It's gonna kind of hang like that. Yeah, you can see. All right, and then we'll continue this line up to make his leg. Just get the basic shapes in there. You want to make some room for the tummy, depending on how big you want this tummy. That's where it's going to be. And my favorite part of this whole deal here is the 3 toes that they have. Let me see. Hold on just one second. Because it's super cute. All right. So we'll put that right here. That'll be his other arm that's wrapping around the other direction. And from there you want to put kind of, and I noticed that they were all kind of crunched together, and I don't know if they, yeah, I think there's just 3 toes here. Yeah. So now you have your basic shape for the sloth. And we're going to go ahead and work on that face. So, kind of the way that I think that we should go about doing this face is, so the sloth's face kind of reminded me of like pajamas. Like a little cute little animal that had like a hoodie on or something. So, maybe we can just kind of pretend that that's what's kind of going on. So this will be the top of the hoodie. It'll just kind of wrap around here. And a little like pajamas or something. So if you can kind of see that little shape. And then I also noticed that there was a cute little nose that was almost like a bulbous flat, like a little flat heart type thing. So that's his little nose. And you can have him look wherever you want him to look. Actually, I'm not really into his nose placement, so I'm going to erase this real quick. I kind of wanted his head a little tilted. Alright, so if you're having trouble like I am right now with figuring out where to put the eyes and nose and everything, you can get a little helper line. Make yourself a little help so you can see kind of the shape of where it's going. And if you do that, it just makes it a little bit easier. So put the nose there, and the mouth is kind of squished up to the nose. There we go. Get some eyes in there. Yeah, this is not the easiest thing here. I've discovered. So this kind of big heart nose, and then the mouth kind of close up to the nose. Those are your slothy features, and the big old smile. They also have these masks that are on their eyes like that. So you might want to just take care of all that right now so that you know where to paint. There's his little pajama. There. So it could be worse here, but we're just sketching it out, so I'm not worried too much. You'll also want to have identify your light source, which we're just gonna make up here, and so this will just be the underneath part of like where the forest is, and so we're just gonna kind of lightly sketch some sort of idea of a shadow that's underneath the tree. So that's just so you know where you want to put it. And we might want to mark some areas where the moss is going to be. Just make some blobs, maybe some dots, because moss comes in different shapes and sizes. You know moss. We're all familiar with moss. Okay, yeah, we get the idea. All right, so there's your basic sloth. If you want, you can even go back in and give yourself an idea of how long you want the hair to be and the direction you want the hair to go. It's not all going to go the same direction. You're probably going to want to have something curving around this arm here, like that, and maybe some falling off this arm here, like that. And of course, these are not just going to stick out. This is a foot that's actually like wrapping around, so you're going to want to make sure that you know that, and you will paint accordingly. So, get rid of some of these lines that you just could do without. My little helper lines here. There he is. Okay, I think he looks okay. I'm gonna get my paints out now. It is time. So I'm gonna do kind of what I did the last couple times I did this. I'm gonna just go around the background, and since he's in the wild, he's gonna have some green colors and some trees behind him and all that. So let's do it. So I gotta find my green. I'm sure it's around here somewhere. I usually don't use greens, but because I like to make my own. But I have a collection of what do I have? I have phthalo green, green gold, cobalt green, and another phthalo green. I think I'll just go with, since I have two of them, a phthalo green. Oh, this one sucks. This is not what you want your paints to do. I don't know if you can see this. It's BC spool. Yeah, it's not supposed to do that. It looks like plastic or something. I think I've had this one way too long. So I'll put this over here so that I can maybe throw it away, but of course I probably won't throw it away. I'll just keep it for more years to come, and that'll just be how the way things go. Here's the other green. Let's see if the same thing is happening to this one. See how often I use green? Holy crap. This is doing the same thing. Okay, so that's how often I use green. I really am not having much luck with my green. Oh, this is so old. Okay, here we go. This is a fun one. Let's just do cobalt green and go with that. And maybe my green gold is okay too. All right. So I'll show you the colors that I'm using. I gotta find a better lighting situation, but there's some colors. All right. So you gotta make sure you're careful not to dip your brush in your coffee. Make sure you have your water out and your coffee out in completely different places. My coffee's way over there. My water's way over here. And that's what we want. Another quick tip, you know, don't you love it? So the borders here, just going to use because it's fun when you reveal a crisp edge. You don't have to use masking tape or blue borders or anything like that if you don't want to. And I'm just going to go around and do a background wash. Maybe see if I can make things that resemble trees or something. Like leaves or, I don't know, nature. Where do sloths even live? I don't know. Does anybody know? Where does a sloth live? Does it live in my backyard? I doubt it. Alright, it's starting to look kind of like trees, out of focus trees. So I also read this when I was looking for sloth pictures. I read part of an article that said that photographers were like stalking sloths, and they just would not leave the sloths alone. And it was like a thing, apparently. The sloths were super annoyed. I can't cite that source. I don't know where I read things. Probably a lie. Alright. So we'll go around the edges too, and make sure you immediately blend those edges. Otherwise, you know, you're going to have to take the time to mask all this stuff off, and masking is alright, but not if you want to just get into it and just do a dang painting. So eventually I'll probably make like a YouTube channel so people can access these if they don't want to always do this at 7 o'clock on a Sunday. And I may also be making kid-friendly versions, kid-friendly ones, because I don't know. I hadn't really thought why. I don't know. I think maybe some people are hesitant letting their kids join if they know that I'm going to say some naughty words, and I don't blame them. You know, I'm questionable. I've got questionable content going on. Alright, we're getting there. So, I don't know how many people know this, but a side note of where I am is, maybe I'll just show you where I am. Okay, so I'm going to turn you around real quick and give you a different view than the sloth for a second. Right now I'm in my basement, if you want to see. So this room is typically where I have a Airbnb, but since we've had to shelter in place and all that, I had to shut down my place for a little bit. But on the plus side, it's been really nice to have a cool art studio and be able to sleep in a nice area with really comfortable stuff. So, looks like I got the coffee down here. So that's just a little side note, a little background of what you're looking at. Okay. I think that this guy might need a little bit right here. Maybe right here. Alright, and that should be it. Kind of, I say that, but there it is. Now that's it. Alright, so sloth colors. I suppose I'll do like a brownish gray or something. It's not what kind of brownish. So let me take out some browns. Raw sienna. Here's some colors. So we have burnt sienna and raw sienna, the two siennas. So let me put some burnt sienna. I think I want a darker color too. So I have you know, some regular brown, some lighter brown, and then I'm going to try to find see if I have any type of darker brown, which I might, I don't know. We'll find out. I'm looking at my crap and I don't see him. Ooh, yeah, I do. Okay. Oh yeah, I totally have stuff. So I have like burnt umber, which is, that's a dark brown. Oh yeah. Alright, so here's dark umber coming at you. Alright. So you can see, there's some colors here. I got the browns here and then the greens that I was just doing there, and I'm not going to drip it on my laptop, so let's not do that. So I'm just going to continue with my big old brush and get some lighter tones in there first, because we can just work light to dark so that we don't have to stress too much about, you know, what we're doing. It's just painting. If anybody is feeling like they are not doing good enough, or they're, you know, nervous about starting, or they just don't want to show people their work, you know, that's fine too. Just a thing to keep in mind is sometimes it's good to have a purpose of doing this, and my purpose right now is you know, entertaining y'all and pretty much just relaxing, having some discipline. So if I keep that in mind, really, did you even hear anything about quality of artwork? Like, I want to produce the next masterpiece or anything? No, I didn't say that, because it's, you know, not what I'm after here. So, you know, it takes the pressure off a little bit. Thank you. It takes the pressure off a little bit, and lets you have a little bit more fun. If you want to be, I mean, I am not super happy with the last one that I did, but, you know, who cares? You just move on to the next one. Yeah, so. And, you know, you can make him a rainbow sloth if you want. I'm sure that'd be super cute. I already made a rainbow, what was it? What did we do? Giraffe. So I'm going to stick with this traditional looking sloth now. No, I should though. Jessica asked if I prepare the paper at all first, and I don't. This is actually just stuck on just a sketchbook, a very large, like, watercolor sketchbook. What you're supposed to do, and what I didn't do, you know, you can wet it down and then stretch it and then dry it, and so that it doesn't have these waves. I did not do that, and I'm willing to kind of accept the consequences that go along with that. But if you do want a nice flat surface, that is completely possible. I think that I mentioned it in my first video, but the way to go about doing that is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure you wet the watercolor paper, you tape it down to like a board, and then when it dries, it tightens up and it doesn't warp when you paint on it again. So I think that's cool if you want to do that. I'm just feeling kind of lazy right now, so not doing it. This is probably worth it, you know, going the extra step to do some of these things, and maybe I'll do that one of these days. So right now I'm dipping into my, what am I going to draw? Sienna, burnt sienna, which is the medium brown, and it's got kind of like this reddish hue to it. So the darker colors you're going to want to put, you know, in the underneath parts, and kind of put some wispy hairs around. And sloths have like relatively long hair. And I'm not tackling the face yet because I am terrified. I don't know what the heck I'm doing with the face. I'm going to try. Actually, let's just do it. Let's just get it over with. Let's see if we can make some sense of that face. So, let's see. Let me try one thing real quick. Alright. I'm going to take my medium brush, more detail brush. We don't need the big honker in there. We'll see what we can come up with. Let's do the parts that we know first. How about that? I know that this mask right here is going to be darker. And we kind of worry about the rest later. Just kind of get the low-hanging fruit. All right, we're getting there. He's super happy. All right, so there's some areas like right here that might want to be darker. So we'll get that burnt sienna in there, or whatever dark brown you have, or dark whatever color you're making this little sloth guy. And don't forget to keep it wispy, keep the hairs going, because these suckers are hairy, you know? That's all there is to it. They're just hairy little guys. We can even go back and mix some of the medium and the light browns that you have, or medium and light colors, and just go in and create a bunch of just hairs. I'm gonna get my fine point. What's this here? Yeah. So my brushes here, I've got. I think this is a 4. Yeah, this is a 4, which is what I've been using, and this is a 2. And the big honker right here, I don't know, it's just a big old honking brush. That's what I use for the background. And it's always good to have multiple sizes of brushes, and the detail ones are super important because sometimes they can make the difference between, you know, pretty tight painting and kind of a sloppy looking one. It's really just the brush size, and just a nice quality small brush, you know, will get you there. It's like some people think that they can't paint, but they really just don't have the right supplies, and that's a darn shame, don't you think? Get some shadows under there. Determine some shapes before we get on this. We should do that. We can start filling in the background of the tree too. Whatever colors you feel like work. I'm just gonna go for browns, and I'll hit it up with some greens too, because remember we have moss. I think I heard that there's moss grows on these guys too. I think moss grows on sloth. I don't know where I heard that, but I feel like that's a thing. Is that a thing? Okay, and then of course this underneath part, you're going to want to make shadows, shades, just a little bit darker. You can even get that going on right now if you want. I like to pop around from area to area. A lot of times people will want to just work on one area and then kind of move on, and that's totally cool too. It just depends what you're into. But the reason that I do this is, you know, when you like draw something and then, or paint some, or do something and then you have to step back and then come back and look at it to make sure that you're not, you know, your perspective isn't just like you've been doing it, you've been looking at it for so long, and you don't know if what you're seeing is really kind of a good critique of what's actually going on. So you have to step away for 5 minutes and then you come back, and I don't even remember what I was talking about, but that that's a thing. Here we go. Getting it. All right. So if you guys are painting along, I'd love to see what you come up with as far as what your sloth looks like, because a few people have already sent me their paintings, and I'm really digging it. It's super fun. I've noticed a lot of mother-daughter teams doing this. I think that's extra cool. Okay. I'm gonna hook up that green again, and I think I'm just gonna go ahead and use that same green for the moss. This yellow, light yellow green. Just kind of do some mossy bits. And it has to be perfect. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be completely horrible, and as long as you're having fun and getting your blood pressure down, and I don't know, like halfway meditating. You know, do this on your own. Turn on the music that you like, not just the music that I like. Yeah, I'm telling you, this sloth face is not easy. I had to really come to terms with what I was going to do here. And the things that I've learned is that mouth is just super close to the nose. It has this goofy ass smile that's like frowning and smiling at the same time, and then it's got that cute little mask, and then the pajamas. Well, not the pajamas, the hoodie, whatever the little outfit is he's got on. It's like the hairy furry outfit. That's other than that, they are kind of crazy looking. They're hard to paint. So, but you know, I believe I put a poll out, and y'all voted for this. So, you dig your own grave. That's what we're doing. I'm gonna get some white, just because I want to make sure it's just available. Okay. So, like, speaking of the face, maybe we can just put some, not sunglasses on it, but that's cute. I want to see the sunglasses sloth. You can just give him a face color. I'm going to mix a little bit of white in so that it can be a little bit lighter. I'll show you what I'm doing. So I'm mixing. Hey, mixy, mixy. And I think they have like little white eyebrows. Yeah, already this is going to need some work. Let's see. We can do it though. Okay, so you got to get some white in there. There's a little eyebrow area. These eyebrow things. And then there's this like aura around the top of his nose. Oh, just give it your best shot, you know. Alright, well, he seriously needs a lot more hair. So it's 7:35, I've got about a half an hour more. I'm just gonna go give him, spend a little bit of time and give him some hair. So get comfortable. You know, and just generally make the underneath hairs darker and the above hairs less dark. See if you can make them long enough. That is a goofy ass look though. All right. If you've just joined, I'm just painting hair on a sloth. You know, simply put, that's what's happening. Not much more. So don't forget when you're painting these, they go around the tree. He's holding on to it. So you're gonna want to make that curve, and like this little flat line right there, right here. Okay, so again, that face, you know, is a challenge, and don't beat yourself up. It is rough. That is a. They just have the goofiest smile, and I guess the best advice I can have is that mouth and the nose are just super close together. Um, you know, and other than that, just good luck. And make something that resembles eyes right there. And of course, the belly you're going to want to make because it's further, it's kind of layered behind other things. You're going to want to make them a little bit darker. Yes, there he is. And also remember when you're doing the hair on the arms, you're going to want to, I mean, you don't have to, but sometimes it's appropriate to kind of do a little curving because it's round arms. So paint in a direction that's kind of curves the brush a little bit. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I guess I do. There. More hair. And this area that's tucked behind is darker. You know the score. Yeah. Anybody have any questions or anything while I'm just kind of painting hair? So really, at this point, it is kind of all about the hair. I mean, I'm just now kind of realizing that not much else going on. Just a hairy animal. And these brush strokes, like I don't typically paint on watercolor paper. I usually paint on canvas. So these brush strokes, I'm finding myself a lot of times have to dip in water a lot to make them not look like they're brush strokes, to make them just look a little bit more fluid. So if you're having trouble with, you know, not having much fluid motion or whatever, and you're having to re-dip your paints all the time and all that, just load on the water and see how it goes. If you're using watercolors or whatever. Okay. Well, I spent a lot of time doing hair, so I think I can stop that now. I can stop. I can stop anytime. I swear. Okay, just a little bit more. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, what else are we gonna do? Let's do a little bit more of the underneath tree shadow. Since it doesn't look dark enough to me. All right. Awesome. Okay, so I kind of like the look of the white on the tree. It almost kind of looks like a birch or something. I might just kind of keep it white and put some more just green tones around here. Get a little bit more color. And again, I'm just mossing it up here. Even if you want to, because moss, you know, do this thing with your brush if you want. This, whatever I'm doing, this thing, that's a mossy thing. Yeah. You'll have moss in no time with this mossy technique. Perfect. Perfect. Let's get some. So even though I'm kind of covering up a lot of this moss, I can always put it back. Just keep in mind that there is a threshold to this paper. It will rip apart this watercolor paper, or most papers will, you know. Just you know, keep that in mind in case you want to do layers upon layers. Because if that's the case, you might want to use a different medium. Like oils, you know, that's good for that. I'm not super into oils because they're kind of a pain to clean up. I'm a low maintenance type of girl. So right now I'm just using some whites to do a little bit of highlights. I'm using my big chunky brush because it's flat, and it still gives me a nice line if I want it. Aha. All right. Well, shoot. I don't know if there's much more to do with this fella. What is he missing? You know, I feel like he's missing a color, and his mouth is still kind of weird. I think he needs to blend in a little bit here. A little bit better. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe a little bit darker parts in the background. I don't know. I kind of like it how it is. But since we got more time, I'll just do some more shadows. You know what I think I'm going to need is I'm gonna have some dark purple because that's like what I'm gonna use for the eyeballs. Check it out. See how much darker that is? That purple's awesome. So that purple I'm talking about is called dioxazine purple, and it's a super cool color because I like to use it instead of black a lot of times because it's so dark. Or you can make it super dark. So use that on use some of your dark paints. Get some of the deep shadows in. Those deep shadows. So you can use it sparingly, or you can kind of go crazy with it. I'm kind of going on the more conservative side. So I don't want him to be like a purple sloth, but I do want him to have some purple shadows. Or highlights, or whatever the heck I'm doing. I don't even know. Purple. Do it. Do it, purple. You didn't order. Oh, I know what you ordered. Well, we're not doing Shrek. I don't think we're ever going to do Shrek. It's off the table now. I literally got like no paint that time. Okay. Here's an important piece of information. To actually paint, you do need to put paint on your brush. It's almost as if it's essential. And you're never going to make this guy too hairy. Just if you want to do hair everywhere, all day, all night, till the end of time, you probably still won't have enough hair on this guy. So much. No Shrek. No, maybe Donkey. We could do Donkey. Okay. Okay, so we have 5 minutes. Let's do the last remaining details. I'm very disciplined in keeping time. Super disciplined. Okay. Did that show up? It's a little shines. Do like a little nose shine. Ear shine. Eyeballs. highlights and all that. Hey, so cute. So, just wrapping it up, given this last bit of effort I've got here in the day. After this, I plan on giving zero more effort. I have no effort left to give. Done with the effort portion of my day. It's a little boring over here. And there you have it. A sloth. It's a sloth worthy of any photographer's stocking. Oh man. I've got to stop. Stop. I said that's it. We're going to stop. And no more. All right. All right, so we have spent 1 hour painting a sloth. How do you like that? And I do believe that I didn't swear once. So if you want to show this to your kids, this is appropriate for all ages. You know, even if you've got like a 4-year-old, it's fine with them. You know, that I'm not saying anything bad. I didn't say a dang thing, see darn thing. It was a very unique situation, and I would take advantage of it if I was you guys. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next week. So that's what we're doing. Bye-bye.